This is Russell with Adobe. We're going to be adding a plugin to your first module. We're also going to talk about plugin scopes, and then we're also going to be using the native PSR logger. Let's get started. You're going to see in the Etsy folder a couple of new folders. This is the scoping that I was talking about. A scope for the plugin is the area that you expect it to execute and only execute in. Now, if you wanted to have something global, you would not put it in a folder. You would just put it in the Etsy folder. But for this example, we are going to use scopes to show you the execution only happens when we expect it. Now let's look at the contents of the admin HTML di.xml file. So this file has a few nodes, one in particular being type. This is defining the original method and class that we want to plug into. The plugin has a few parameters. Name. This one needs to be a unique name, so every plugin has to have a unique name to help differentiate itself from others in the application. So just do your best to try to pick a name that is unique. The type defines the class that is going to have our custom logic. Disabled, this is optional. It will default to false, so you don't have to set it. But you would keep this if you want to keep your core logic that you've written, but you just don't want your plugin to execute for whatever reason. And then finally is sort order. This is, once again, this is optional. You don't have to define it. This just helps organize the plugins that may be using the same function that they're plugging into. You can help define the order that this will be executed. So let's go ahead and open up the corresponding class for this plugin. So this class basically shows that we are doing a constructor to define and set up for our use the PSR logger. This is important because the whole purpose of this plugin is to write to the log file when an admin user places an order, what the total amount was. Now let's look at the contents of the front end di.xml. You'll notice this is very similar. It has the plugin name, which once again needs to be unique. It defines the class that we're using for our plugin. And you'll notice that I left out the disabled, but I've kept the sort order, once again, just to help execute this in a different order. So now let's look at the class responsible for the customer login. This plugin, its only job is to catch when the customer uses the login post from the Luma front end. And we are going to grab the username that was used, and then we're going to send this to the logger with a message saying that a customer tried to log in using this username. Once again, this is a before execute, which means before the customer tries to log in, this will happen. So regardless if it's positive or negative, the login process, this will take effect. Now we're going to demonstrate the customer login post plugin. We're going to enter a email address. Into our password, and if you look up to the top of the video, you'll see that the log was entered, that username hit the login post controller. So that just proves that our plugin is working. There's the code that corresponds with the message. Now we're going to show you the REST API. So this goes with the XML that is in the web API _ REST. And this happens when a Luma front end or an API uses the method to create an order. Again, we're defining the class that we're plugging into. We gave it a very unique name, and then this is our custom method. So this is going to be after the order is placed. That's the after place is the plugin. And the message we're going to be dropping is a customer placed an order. So let's just see it in action. Add this to our cart. We're going to put the log on the screen so that way we can see the output. Go ahead and check out. As soon as we place the order, there's our message. So our plugin worked as expected. Now we're going to go ahead and show you the admin placing an order. So there's a slightly different message. So let's go ahead and show you that. So an admin user placed an order with the amount. It's going to be our message that we're going to drop to the log. So we're going to go to the admin. We're going to pick an old order. Let's choose this one. So it's a different amount. Order. There's our log. Let's go ahead and order. Submit. There we go. So an admin user placed an order. There we go. Our message is good. So this just shows that we have 3 different plugins, all doing different things, all in different scopes. You'll realize that 2 of them are doing basically the same thing when an order is placed. It's dropping things to the log, but depending on their scope, only one fires at a time, which is expected because that's the reason for the scoping of the plugins. Be sure to go to Experience League to learn more about plugins, and also developer.adobe.com so that way you can continue your education and understanding on plugins and their proper use.